On tonight's video, I bought a 2003 BMW 540i M Sport package with a 6-speed, 170,000 miles. We're going to talk to the previous owner, and we're going to talk to the guys at European Auto Solutions about what to look out for buying a vehicle like this. Alright, today's video, guys, I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because I talk too much. Alright, because I do have the past owner involved and I do have the repair shop. They're both going to be talking in the video. So real quickly, my name is Mike the Baldadonis. I buy and sell cars as a hobby and I bring you guys along with me showing the pros and cons of each vehicle that I buy. Now, I live on Craigslist, I live on Facebook looking for vehicles. I'm a BMW enthusiast. It's a love-hate relationship, to be honest with you, because buying a car like a 540, it's very expensive, and it's something that if you haven't owned, you'll find out very quickly that the money adds up and you want nothing to do with BMWs. Now, I have friends that help me out, so owning these cars is less stressful for me. But anyways, I saw the ad of a 2003 with a 6-speed 540M package, which is very hard to find. I have number one of 143 of the combination I have, the color combination in the 6-speed. Less than 2,000 made, I believe. So I have a very rare car. Now, people like to call M cars or M Sport cars because there's a Sport package. This is a true M Sport car, only made in 2003. That's why I was gravitated to see this car. Now, the owner, his name is Spencer, he written up a very good ad, which two things. He lived a little too far away and it didn't have the original wheels. So I was kind of hesitant to see him, but after talking to him, he did thousands and thousands of dollars of work to this car, and he's going to talk about that in a second. For somebody that buys and sells cars, at that moment when I was talking to him, I had no cars. I just sold a BMW X1 and I just sold a Lexus SC430. So I literally had no car. I was relying on friends to drive me around looking for vehicles. So I had my friend Christian pick me up, take me to go see Spencer, and here we go.
So hi, my name's Spencer. I'm the one selling the E39 540. It's been my car for the last 5 years. I bought it when I was living in Pennsylvania. I got it because my dad had an 02 530 that was the same color, and it was the car that I did all my college tours on when I was in high school, and I always wanted to get it and soup it up. So in the end, I just bought the 540 because it was faster to start with and had the Sport package. So in terms of upgrades, I did my best to first make it mechanically sound, and then with upgrades I wanted some minor OEM plus style stuff. So with Dynon, I did the cold air intake, the larger mass airflow sensor housing, and the larger throttle body that runs to the intake manifold that has the bigger runners off of the like I guess it was 97, 98 E39s before they went to the Vanos system. So that makes it breathe a little bit better at the top end. I haven't really noticed a loss in low end torque from it, but I haven't noticed a whole lot in top end power, but it does sound really good. So it definitely added to the sound. Other than that, I added an M5 rear sway bar to it to just give it a slightly more oversteer characteristic and a little less understeer out of the kind of heavy front end car. And then I put monoballs on the front end to tighten up the steering a bit. And then an E60 short shifter and the Eurodash and center console upgrades. And then in the summer I would take it up to the Adirondacks and Canada to do canoe trips. So yeah, it was going a few hundred miles at a pop with an 18-foot Royal X canoe on the top of it. And there's a picture to prove it. But yeah, it's been a great car. Had a lot of fun with it, but now with 2 kids and a dog, it doesn't really fit the family circumstances at the moment. The maintenance included the valley pan gasket. That was when I ended up doing the intake manifold and the rest of the engine performance upgrades. And then I did the timing chain guides and the Vanos seals. Those were the real big expensive items. The cooling system, like the radiator and the water pump, are kind of just, you got to do it prophylactically just to make sure that you don't overheat the car. But yeah, those were thousands of dollars in repairs. And when I say I did it, my mechanic did it. I wasn't going to take the whole front end of the car off. I'm not that good. So it's a 2003 E39 540. The 2003 is a little special because it's a 1-year M Sport package. Makes it a little different than the Sport packages that were offered on previous years. So it has an M5 front and rear bumper. The front bumper has one little T-bar inside the lower grille. It's the only real difference. It comes with the M-Tech 2 suspension, so it has different springs and shocks and struts. And then it has the black headliner. It's got the sport steering wheel. And if you had the automatic, it came with a different rear differential gearing, but this one has the standard one, since it's a manual transmission, which in and of itself makes it a little rare. Those are the big parts. It was mostly suspension and cosmetics, and it also came with a different exhaust. Most of the E39s, you don't see the exhaust on them, but this one, since it has the M Sport rear bumper, you get to see a nice fat exhaust pipe out the rear. So those are the main differences.
So when I get the car home, I always detail my vehicles. As soon as I get them, I have to do it. I have like OCD type of thing. I got to detail them and make them as nice and shiny as possible. I don't know what it is, but I do it. So Spencer called me back about a month later saying that he got the extra parts from Pennsylvania. So I went, picked up my friend's truck. It was a 3-hour night. It took me 20 minutes to get to my friend's house, pick up his truck, go to Spencer's house, which is an hour away, bring all the stuff back to my house, drop it off, bring my friend's truck back to his house, and then come back home with my car. Now, while I was at Spencer's house, he did give me a boatload of items, and very good ones indeed. They were the M wheels, snow tires on a different set of wheels, brakes, all 4 rotors and pads, oil and filter kit, and a few little extra interior bits. So Spencer, I want to thank you so much for doing that for me. I'm going to do this car justice now. When I did get the wheels home, first thing I did was wash them off to see how nice they were. They're not perfect, but they're perfect for the car. So I got 4 new tires. I went to simpletire.com. Even though I have friends that own repair shops and garages, they were able to give me the best price for the tire that I was looking for, which surprised me. So last week, I was able to get my wheels and tires, drop them off at IGA Tire down the street from my house. They do a lot of work for me. But the BMW, I was finally able to get it down to the shop for this video, and we're gonna talk to them right now.
What's going on, guys? Dave here from European Auto Solutions. We got Mike back with his 2003 BMW 540. It's got the 6-speed M Sport package. We went through the vehicle for him today to check it over and figure out what he needed and show him some of the common issues with this vehicle and what to look out for if you're going to be purchasing one of these vehicles. So basically today we did 4-wheel brakes on his car, inspected the engine for leaks. He's got a couple major leaks from the valve covers. There's actually bank 1 and bank 2, so there's 2 valve covers on this car. So we'll be replacing those. Also, Vanos solenoids have a little gasket around them in front of the head. Those leak oil as well, so we're replacing those gaskets and cleaning the entire motor down and run it for a little while and check for any other leaks that could be under there. Also, he's got a couple belts that are cracked, so we're replacing the belts with the tensioners. So some of the common issues to look out for when you're in the market to purchase one of these vehicles, always start with the cooling system. Check for any potential leaks in the radiator, any of the hoses. The water pump, it says mechanical water pump in the front of the engine. You can actually grab the fan, check for any lateral play in it. Oil leaks, very common on BMWs. Check for valve cover leaks. Vano solenoid seal in the front of the engine, those can leak. Also the DSC control unit, they put it right here in the engine bay next to the motor, which there's actually a lot of heat that can get over there. And inside here is a computer control unit, and the solders will actually break, causing an ABS light, traction control light. It's a very common issue with these. Also, while you're there, check the brake lines for any possible leaks or any corrosion and rust while you're over there. Also, another check you can do, you can pop this plastic cover off the engine here. There's 4 little push buttons right here, and the whole cover will come right off. Now you can access the full intake here. There's also some vacuum lines up here that can dry rot and break. There's also a crankcase ventilation system attached to the back of the intake. I recommend changing that. All your fuel injectors are up here, fuel rail. You basically just check for anything obvious, any leaks you might see. Also, you can check down here with a flashlight. Check for any coolant that can be underneath here, under the intake. There's a valley pan gasket underneath there, which requires removal of the complete intake to get to it, which is kind of a big job. There's also 2 coolant pipes, transfer pipes that go from the back of the head to the front of the water pump. Those have little seals in there that can potentially leak as well. So if you're under there, you'd want to replace those seals on those pipes as well. Also, the timing chains are an issue on these older motors here. So if you're running the engine at idle, kind of give it a little throttle. Check for any metallic noises from the front of the engine here and the timing chains. They can come loose, and it has plastic guides that guides can break, and then the vehicle can come out of time and you basically ruin the motor. So I really pay attention for any metallic noise in the front of the engine. One last quick thing you can do is check all the fluids in the engine bay. You got your power steering fluid. This is actually your engine oil filter that they place up here in a separate cartridge. You can check your coolant level in here, and your engine oil, which these BMWs still have a dipstick, so you can check your oil here. And if you wanted to check microfilters for your cabin air, it's a quick, simple check right here. Make sure they're not moldy and dirty. And that basically wraps up the engine bay. So after you've checked everything out in the engine bay and everything looks good, you can now move on to the test drive. I'd recommend, going over a few bumps, make sure you don't hear any noise from the suspension. Give it a couple aggressive pit maneuvers, make sure you don't hear any noise from the wheel bearings. An aggressive stop, make sure you don't feel any vibration in the wheel. This vehicle has a multi-link front suspension setup with a few different ball joints that could be loose, thrust iron bushings could be torn. That can all cause a vibration in the steering wheel. Also has a steering box on this car, not like the new cars with steering racks. So the steering box can have play in it. There's also a little adjustment on there that you can kind of tighten it up a little bit. If all that's good, check for noises in the transmission. Mike's is a 6-speed transmission, and any potential clutch noises or grinding in this transmission when shifting gears. This car actually has a little bit of noise from the throw-up bearing inside the clutch. So when you come to a stop and you let go of the clutch, you can hear kind of like a loud bearing noise from the transmission. That's basically just the throw-up bearing just kind of dried up, no more grease in there, so it's making a loud noise. So at that point, we'd remove the transmission, replace the clutch, throw-up bearing, pilot bearing, and he'll be good to go. So that's what you want to look out for if you're purchasing one of these vehicles. Thanks for watching the video. Once again, I'm Dave from European Auto Solutions in Hudson, New Hampshire. You can check us out on Facebook, and hope to see you soon.
So as soon as I left the guys at European Auto Solution, I was able to get my tires and rims put on at IGA Tire. And I want to thank them very much because it was Friday, right before the holiday, and they squeezed me in right before they left. Just be prepared that these are very expensive to work on. If you can't do it yourself, forget about it. Don't buy one of these cars unless it's really well sorted like this one is. So some of the things I have to do, the oil leak, get that done. It has a check engine light. We're gonna fix that. And we're gonna put a clutch in. So those will be all separate videos. So until the next video, everybody, Baldadonis out.